Ladies and gentlemen, let me be blunt. If you want to succeed at the highest level, if you want to reach the peak of your potential, there's one thing you absolutely cannot avoid. You must be obsessed with the win. Not just interested, not just I'll try a little, not just when it's convenient, obsessed, all-consuming, every fiber of your being focused on the outcome you refuse to compromise on. The people who change the world, the people who leave a legacy, they don't just want it. They hunger for it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, obsessed, that sounds extreme, but here's the truth. Average people don't achieve extraordinary results. Average people get distracted. Average people make excuses. Extraordinary results demand extraordinary commitment. They demand a fire inside you that refuses to be extinguished by setbacks, by critics, by failure. Because here's the reality, failure is going to come. It's not optional, it's inevitable. You will stumble, you will get rejected, you will be told you're not good enough, but here's the difference. The difference between someone who quits and someone who wins is obsession. When you are obsessed with the win, failure isn't defeat, it's feedback. It's a lesson, it's fuel. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Every no is just a signal that you are closer to your yes. Obsessed people don't wait for motivation, they create it. They don't hope for opportunities, they make them. They don't compromise their dreams, they adjust, they pivot, they fight harder. You have to consume your vision until it dominates your thoughts, until it drives every action you take, every decision you make, every hour of your day. And let me tell you something else. Obsession is contagious. When you are obsessed with the win, people notice. Opportunities appear. Doors open that were invisible before. You don't just pull yourself forward. You pull others forward with you. You become magnetic. You become unstoppable. But here's the test. How bad do you want it? How hungry are you to leave your mark, to prove to yourself and the world that you are not here to play small? Because obsession requires sacrifice. It requires discipline. It requires pushing through when every part of you wants to quit. And it's those moments, those grueling, painful, exhausting moments, where the real winners are made. I want you to feel it right now. Feel that fire, that relentless desire to achieve. Let it consume you. Don't just want the win, be obsessed with it. Think about it every morning, every night, every waking moment. Visualize it, speak it, move toward it with unshakable commitment. Because let me tell you this, if you are not obsessed, someone else will be, and they will take what could have been yours. They will step in, they will fight harder, they will refuse to quit, and they will win. You have a choice. You can either step up, embrace obsession, and claim your victory, or you can stand on the sidelines and watch as others achieve what you dreamed of. Obsessed people don't get tired, they get results. Obsessed people don't complain, they conquer. Obsessed people don't accept average, they redefine possible. So, ask yourself right now, are you ready to stop settling for ordinary? Are you ready to become consumed by the relentless pursuit of your win? Because if you are, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you. Obsession isn't a weakness, it's a weapon, it's your secret, it's the thing that will separate you from everyone else. So harness it, feed it, let it drive you beyond your limits, beyond your fears, beyond what you thought was possible. The win is waiting, but it will only come to the obsessed. The choice is yours. Be average or be unstoppable. When it comes to achieving greatness, there is a fundamental difference between wanting something and being obsessed with it. Too many people live their lives merely interested in success, thinking that occasional effort or a casual commitment is enough to reach extraordinary results. They dabble, they experiment, they take half measures. They hope, and hoping, as we know, is not a strategy. It is a wish without action, a dream without a plan, and a desire that fades at the first hint of difficulty. Being interested in success is like dipping your toe in the water while standing on the shore, imagining what it might feel like to swim, but never really plunging into the depths. Obsession is different. Obsession is not casual. Obsession is not polite. Obsession is all-consuming, relentless, and uncompromising. Obsession is what drives the person to wake up hours earlier than everyone else, to sacrifice comforts that others cling to work while others sleep, to keep going when everyone else has quit, and to keep going again when quitting seems like the only logical choice. Obsession is the difference between someone who talks about their goals and someone who achieves them. You cannot be mildly interested and expect to create extraordinary results. You cannot be sort of committed and reach a level of mastery that others will remember. You cannot dip your toe and hope to conquer the ocean. You must fully immerse yourself. You must become consumed by the vision of your own success. Obsession over interest is not about passion alone, though passion is a part of it. Passion is the spark. Obsession is the fire that never goes out. Passion is a momentary excitement. Obsession is a daily ritual, a constant awareness, a mental and emotional state that defines every choice you make. If you are interested in winning, you will make excuses when things get hard. If you are obsessed with winning, you will find a way no matter what. If you are interested, failure will stop you. If you are obsessed, failure will propel you forward. Think about the people you admire most in any field: sports, business, arts, science. Do you think they got there by being casually interested? Do you think they took half measures and hoped for the best? No. Every champion, every legend, every person who has left a permanent mark on the world has been obsessed with their vision. They were willing to sacrifice social approval, leisure, comfort, and even relationships at times, because their desire to win was bigger than any temporary pleasure. Obsession creates clarity. When you are obsessed with a goal, you cannot afford distractions. Every decision, every action, every thought is filtered through the lens of, does this move me closer to the win? Ordinary people let distractions rule their lives. They let social media, gossip, comfort, and fear dictate their choices. Obsessed people say no to anything that does not serve the vision. They create a tunnel of focus that is so sharp, so precise, that nothing can pull them off course. Obsession is not reckless. Obsession is strategic. It is intentional. It is focused energy applied to one goal with relentless consistency. It is prioritizing what matters over what feels comfortable. It is waking up every day asking, what can I do today that will get me closer to winning? And refusing to accept any answer that does not move the needle. Obsession also requires a level of self-awareness that most people avoid. When you are obsessed, you must understand your weaknesses, your fears, and the patterns that hold you back. You cannot hide behind excuses. You cannot blame circumstances or other people for your lack of progress. Obsession demands accountability. It forces you to confront reality, embrace it, and then take massive action anyway. Interest allows procrastination. Obsession makes procrastination impossible. Interest settles for good enough. Obsession refuses anything less than extraordinary. Interest can be swayed by criticism, doubts, or setbacks. Obsession turns these challenges into fuel. Every negative comment, every failure, every moment of doubt becomes a signal that you are pushing the boundaries, that you are in the arena, that you are moving closer to your vision. Obsession over interest is a mindset shift. It is a complete commitment to living your life at the highest level. It is deciding that you will no longer allow mediocrity to define your existence. It is deciding that winning is not optional, that success is not negotiable, and that your dreams deserve the totality of your focus and energy. When you are obsessed, you do not wait for permission. You do not wait for the perfect timing. You do not wait for motivation to appear. You create your own conditions. You dictate your own rules. You become the leader of your own life. Obsession demands a level of energy, drive, and persistence that can seem uncomfortable or extreme to those who are not willing to pay the price. It asks you to push past fatigue, past fear, past doubt, and past the temptation to settle. It asks you to embrace a vision so vividly that it dominates your thoughts, influences your behavior, and shapes your daily choices. Obsession is not about arrogance or ego. It is about clarity, commitment, and courage. It is the courage to chase something bigger than yourself, to risk everything in the pursuit of your vision, and to refuse to be satisfied with anything less than the absolute best you can create. The people who succeed are not the ones who are interested. They are the ones who are obsessed, and obsession is contagious. When you show up in the world fully committed, fully engaged, fully relentless, people notice. Opportunities appear, doors open. Support comes from unexpected places. Your energy attracts other hyper, forming people who raise your game even higher. Obsession makes the impossible possible because it does not accept limitations. It does not recognize failure as a stopping point. It does not allow excuses to take root. Every moment becomes an opportunity, every challenge becomes a chance to improve, every interaction becomes a step forward. To be obsessed over interested, you must train your mind to live in your vision constantly. You must feed it with clarity, with discipline, and with relentless action. You must surround yourself with people, environments, and influences that support your obsession, not dilute it. You must measure every decision against the standard of your ultimate goal and eliminate anything that does not serve it. Obsession transforms the ordinary into extraordinary. It transforms hope into results, desire into achievement, and dreams into reality. It does not ask for permission. It does not negotiate with circumstances. It simply refuses to stop, refuses to yield, and refuses to accept anything less than complete victory. Failure is not the enemy. Too many people live their lives terrified of failing, terrified of making mistakes, terrified of looking weak or incompetent in front of others. They avoid risks. They play small. They settle. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions, but the truth is, perfection is an illusion. Failure is inevitable, but it is not fatal. Failure is the fuel that powers those who are truly committed to winning. It is the raw material from which champions are forged. Every person who has achieved greatness has failed, countless times, in ways that would have stopped ordinary people dead in their tracks. But the difference is that extraordinary people see failure differently. They do not see it as defeat. They see it as information. They see it as feedback. They see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to move forward with greater knowledge and determination. Every failure carries a lesson, a clue, a secret that can propel you closer to your ultimate goal if you are willing to look hard enough. When you embrace failure as fuel, you shift your mindset from fear to empowerment. You begin to understand that every no you receive, every rejection, every setback, every misstep is not a roadblock. It is a signpost pointing you toward the strategies, habits, and decisions you must refine in order to succeed. The people who fear failure are paralyzed by it. The people who embrace failure are propelled forward by it. They take each misstep and ask themselves, what can I learn? How can I adjust? How can I leverage this to my advantage? Obsession with the win and the ability to use failure as fuel go hand in hand. Without failure, you cannot grow. Without mistakes, you cannot innovate. Without taking risks, you cannot achieve extraordinary results. Every failure sharpens your focus. Every obstacle teaches resilience. Every rejection strengthens your resolve. Imagine a world in which Thomas Edison gave up after the first 100 experiments failed. Imagine a world in which Michael Jordan stopped after his first missed shot in the NBA. Imagine a world in which every entrepreneur, every inventor, every artist, every athlete refused to push past their mistakes. The world would be devoid of progress. The world would be empty of achievement. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not luck. It is the ability to persist through failure, to extract value from mistakes, and to transform setbacks into stepping stones. Failure is a gift in disguise. It is the compass that guides you toward improvement. It is the spark that ignites innovation. It is the mirror that reflects your weaknesses so you can turn them into strength. The moment you begin to see failure as fuel, you stop being afraid to take action. You start to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. You begin to understand that risk is not the enemy, and discomfort is not something to escape. It is a necessary part of the journey toward mastery. Failure is a test, but it is also a teacher. It forces you to confront your limitations, to recognize where you are settling, to challenge the excuses that have held you back, and to rise above the mediocrity that surrounds most people. Most people quit at the first sign of difficulty because they do not understand this. Most people see failure as shameful. Most people see mistakes as proof that they are not capable. But the truth is, failure is proof that you are trying. Failure is proof that you are stepping outside your comfort zone. Failure is proof that you are alive, engaged, and daring to reach for something extraordinary. Obsession and failure are intimately connected. When you are obsessed with winning, failure is not a reason to quit. It is an opportunity to push harder. When you are obsessed, failure does not discourage you. It energizes you. It forces you to dig deeper, to work smarter, to double down on the strategies that work and abandon those that do not. You learn to take calculated risks, to experiment relentlessly, and to refuse to allow temporary defeat to dictate the terms of your life. Every failure is an invitation to refine your approach, to study the situation more closely, to analyze what went wrong and why, and to apply that knowledge to your next attempt. Failure is a teacher with brutal honesty, and those who listen carefully are the ones who win. You cannot shortcut this process. There is no way around it. If you want to achieve the extraordinary, you must embrace failure as a constant companion, a necessary partner, and a source of power. You must understand that the road to victory is paved with mistakes, with setbacks, with moments of doubt and discomfort. You must learn to persist through the storms, to rise each time you fall, and to turn every obstacle into a stepping stone toward your vision. Fear of failure will paralyze you. Embracing failure as fuel will energize you. Fear of failure keeps you small. Fueling yourself with failure makes you unstoppable. The difference is your mindset. The difference is your choice. You can choose to see failure as the end of the line, or you can choose to see it as the beginning of your next breakthrough. Every great innovator, every great leader, every great competitor has chosen the latter. They have trained their minds to see every setback not as a defeat, but as a signal, not as a roadblock, but as a challenge, not as a reason to quit, but as an opportunity to grow stronger. When you start to understand this, you stop avoiding risks. You stop worrying about what other people think. You stop trying to play it safe. You start taking bold, massive action. You start learning faster, growing faster, and moving toward your goal with unstoppable momentum. And the beauty of it is, the more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the faster you improve. The faster you improve, the closer you get to winning. This is why failure is fuel. This is why you must embrace it. This is why you cannot let temporary setbacks dictate your destiny. Your mistakes are not your enemies. They are your mentors. Your struggles are not punishments. They are your teachers. Your defeats are not endings. They are beginnings of a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself. Every champion, every legend, every person who has ever achieved the impossible has leveraged failure as fuel. They did not avoid it. They did not fear it. They did not let it stop them. They used it. They studied it. They learned from it. They transformed it into the driving force that propelled them forward. You must do the same. You must understand that every setback is an opportunity to get closer. Every failure is a step forward. Every mistake is a building block. And every moment of discomfort is a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success. Failure is not a sign that you are weak. Failure is not a signal that you are unworthy. Failure is the fire that tempers steel, the rain that nourishes growth, the weight that builds strength, the test that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Too many people talk about what they want. Too many people imagine the life they could have. Too many people plan and plan and plan, but they never move. They wait for the perfect conditions, the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect motivation, and the truth is, that moment almost never comes. Life does not reward those who wait. Life does not reward those who hesitate. Life rewards those who take relentless, massive, unstoppable action. You cannot afford to be passive. You cannot afford to be cautious. You cannot afford to assume that small, sporadic efforts will produce extraordinary results. Extraordinary results require extraordinary action, and extraordinary action is not measured in minutes or hours. It is measured in the relentless pursuit of your goal, the refusal to be deterred by obstacles, the insistence on moving forward no matter the circumstances. Relentless action is not about occasional bursts of effort. It is about consistency, intensity, and focus. It is about waking up every day with a clear vision of what you want and taking steps, no matter how small or uncomfortable, to move closer to it. It is about refusing to let fear, doubt, procrastination, or distraction dictate your choices. Every person who has ever achieved the impossible understood this. They understood that talent alone is not enough. They understood that intelligence alone is not enough. They understood that motivation alone is not enough. Action is the key. Action is the engine that drives results, and not just action, relentless action. Action without relent is like a car engine without fuel. It may start, but it will not go far. Relentless action is fueled by obsession, by purpose, by an unshakable desire to achieve your vision. It is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It is what separates those who talk about winning from those who actually do it. Action requires courage. Every time you take action, you risk failure, rejection, or discomfort. Every time you push beyond your comfort zone, you encounter uncertainty, resistance, and challenges. But relentless action does not wait for certainty. Relentless action does not wait for comfort. Relentless action moves forward despite fear. It moves forward despite doubt. It moves forward despite resistance. The path to winning is never smooth, but relentless action allows you to create your own momentum, to control your own destiny, and to dictate the pace of your own success. People who are obsessed with winning understand this. They do not sit around hoping that success will come to them. They go after it with unrelenting intensity. They do not wait for inspiration. They create it. They do not wait for opportunities. They make them. They do not wait for approval. They take initiative. Relentless action is the difference between planning and achieving. You can have the best ideas, the clearest vision, and the most incredible goals, but without action, they remain fantasies. They remain wishes. They remain things that exist only in your mind. Action transforms vision into reality. Action transforms dreams into achievements. Action transforms intention into results. Relentless action compounds over time. Every small step, every persistent effort, every repeated attempt adds up. It builds momentum. It creates habits. It trains your mind to focus on results rather than obstacles. It trains your body to endure discomfort rather than retreat from it. It trains your spirit to be resilient rather than fragile. The more you take relentless action, the stronger, faster, and more capable you become. The more you act, the more opportunities you see. The more you act, the more doors open. The more you act, the more people notice, the more doors swing wide, and the more the universe responds to your energy and intensity. Relentless action is not mindless. It is strategic. It is focused. It is intentional. It is the application of effort in a concentrated direction, aligned with your highest goals and greatest vision. Random, scattered, unfocused action produces noise. Relentless action produces results. It produces measurable progress. It produces breakthroughs. It produces the kind of forward motion that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Action requires accountability. You must be willing to measure your progress, evaluate your performance, and adjust your approach when necessary. You must be willing to confront reality, to see where you are falling short, and to do whatever it takes to correct your course. Relentless action does not allow excuses. Relentless action does not accept procrastination. Relentless action does not tolerate hesitation. Relentless action is immediate, it is decisive, it is unstoppable. Relentless action also requires energy. You cannot operate at peak levels if you are tired, distracted, or complacent. You must train your mind, body, and spirit to sustain high levels of focus, endurance, and intensity. You must cultivate habits, routines, and disciplines that support continuous progress. You must learn to push through fatigue, discomfort, and resistance with a level of determination that ordinary people cannot comprehend. The people who succeed are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to stop. They are the ones who keep moving when others pause. They are the ones who keep striving when others quit. They are the ones who keep pushing when everyone else is satisfied with mediocrity. Relentless action requires a mindset that refuses to settle. It requires the refusal to be distracted by temporary discomfort, fleeting doubt, or momentary setbacks. It requires the ability to focus on the outcome, the vision, the prize, and to let nothing, absolutely nothing, distract you from it. When you combine relentless action with obsession and with the ability to use failure as fuel, you create an unstoppable force. You create a momentum that cannot be reversed. You create a trajectory that is destined for success. Every step you take, every effort you make, every decision you execute compounds over time. Every bit of action adds to the weight of your momentum until there is no stopping you. Relentless action is also contagious. When people see someone moving with unshakable determination, they notice, doors open, support appears, opportunities emerge, energy flows to those who are already in motion. You become a magnet for results because your action demonstrates commitment, intensity, and purpose. People who wait for permission, who hesitate, who delay, miss out. People who take relentless action create the life they want. People who wait create excuses. People who act relentlessly create results. Relentless action is not optional. It is the standard for anyone who wants to win, anyone who wants to achieve, anyone who wants to live a life of significance. Without it, you will remain stuck. Without it, you will remain ordinary. Without it, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. With relentless action, you transform your potential into performance. You transform your ideas into reality. You transform your vision into achievement. You create momentum that propels you forward through obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. You turn every day into progress, every moment into opportunity, every effort into a step closer to your ultimate goal. Relentless action is the lifeblood of extraordinary achievement. It is the difference between talking about winning and actually winning. It is the engine that drives transformation. It is the mechanism by which dreams become tangible, measurable, undeniable reality. And it is the thing that ordinary people refuse to do, because it demands energy, focus, courage, and an unwillingness to quit. Sacrifice and discipline are the twin pillars of achievement, the hidden engines that drive those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Too many people talk about wanting success, dreaming about greatness, longing for extraordinary results, but they stop short when the price becomes real. They are unwilling to sacrifice the comforts of today for the victories of tomorrow. They are unwilling to endure temporary pain for permanent gain. Sacrifice is not about losing. It is about prioritizing. It is about choosing the long-term prize over the short-term pleasure. Every successful person, every champion, every leader, every innovator has had to give up something. They have had to say no to distractions, to temptations, to the easy way out. They have had to dedicate hours when others were relaxing, to endure discomfort when others were resting, to keep grinding when others were quitting. Discipline is what turns sacrifice into results. Without discipline, sacrifice is wasted. Without discipline, desire is meaningless. Discipline is the daily commitment to take action even when motivation fades. Discipline is showing up, doing the work, staying consistent, and refusing to allow excuses to dictate your performance. Sacrifice without discipline is chaos. Discipline without sacrifice is complacency. Together, they create the unstoppable force that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary achievements. Sacrifice is never easy. It is uncomfortable, inconvenient, and sometimes painful. But discomfort is a signal that you are stretching beyond your current limits, that you are building strength, resilience, and capability. Discipline is not about rigidity. It is about consistency, focus, and persistence. It is about creating habits that serve your vision, routines that align with your goals, and actions that move you closer to your ultimate prize every single day. The greatest victories are reserved for those who are willing to do what others will not. When you sacrifice, you are telling the universe that your vision is more important than temporary pleasure. You are willing to endure the grind, to push through the fatigue, to embrace the discomfort, because the reward on the other side is worth it. Discipline is the engine that sustains you through the grind. It is the force that keeps you moving when motivation is gone. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline carries you through when the fire inside you flickers. Sacrifice teaches you patience, teaches you endurance, teaches you that nothing worth having comes easy. Discipline teaches you structure, teaches you consistency, teaches you that results are created by repeated effort over time. When you combine sacrifice with discipline, you create leverage. You create a life in which every choice, every action, every moment is aligned with your vision. You begin to operate at a higher level than those around you because you are willing to pay the price that most people refuse to pay. Every successful person has a story of sacrifice. They stayed up late, got up early, missed parties, missed vacations, missed comfort, and endured struggles that would have broken someone less committed. They understood that the path to winning is not paved with convenience or ease. It is paved with choices that require courage, focus, and relentless commitment. Discipline ensures that these sacrifices are not wasted. It ensures that every effort compounds, every action builds momentum, every day moves you closer to the win. Sacrifice and discipline are not abstract ideas. They are measurable. You can see them in the hours invested, in the habits formed, in the priorities chosen, in the relentless pursuit of progress. Ordinary people measure success by results alone. Extraordinary people measure success by the effort, the choices, and the discipline they invest, knowing that results will follow. Sacrifice and discipline are also about saying no. Saying no to distractions, to indulgences, to things that do not serve your vision. Every no is an act of power, an act of control, an act of focus. Every yes must be deliberate, intentional, and aligned with your ultimate goals. Discipline is the muscle that allows you to enforce these boundaries, to stay committed when external pressures try to pull you off course, to maintain focus when the world tempts you to wander. Sacrifice teaches you to value the outcome more than the comfort. Discipline teaches you to honor that value through consistent action. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones willing to pay the price, willing to endure discomfort, willing to do what must be done when others choose to quit. Sacrifice and discipline are also deeply connected to vision. Without a compelling vision, sacrifice feels like suffering and discipline feels like drudgery. But when you have a vision that excites, motivates, and consumes you, sacrifice becomes meaningful and discipline becomes empowering. You endure the discomfort because it is part of a larger story, a larger purpose, a larger destiny. Every time you choose sacrifice, you are investing in your future self. Every time you exercise discipline, you are reinforcing the habits, mindset, and strength required to sustain success. These are not short-term efforts. They are long-term commitments. They compound over time, creating exponential results that few ever see coming. Sacrifice and discipline also teach resilience. They teach you to keep moving when the road is rough, to keep striving when the odds are against you, to keep believing when everything inside you wants to quit. They build character, fortitude, and an unshakable mindset that allows you to navigate challenges with confidence, courage, and clarity. Without sacrifice and discipline, dreams remain dreams. Without sacrifice and discipline, goals remain aspirations. Without sacrifice and discipline, potential remains unrealized. But with them, you can achieve more than you ever imagined. You can rise above limitations, defy odds, break barriers, and create a legacy that outlives you. Sacrifice and discipline also require self-awareness. You must understand what is truly important, what serves your vision, and what does not. You must be willing to let go of the trivial, the distracting, the comfortable, and focus relentlessly on what matters. You must align every choice, every action, every hour of your day with the outcome you refuse to compromise on. Discipline teaches you how to structure your life, prioritize your energy, and allocate your time. Sacrifice teaches you what you are willing to give up to make that structure and focus effective. Together, they create power. They create control. They create mastery. The people who succeed are not the ones who stumble upon luck. They are the ones who understand that nothing worth achieving comes without cost. They are the ones willing to pay that cost every day, without complaint, without hesitation, without compromise. Sacrifice and discipline are the hidden forces behind every extraordinary achievement. They are the reasons some people rise while others remain stagnant. They are the difference between intention and execution, between potential and performance, between dreams and reality. Every day, every hour, every moment presents a choice. Will you prioritize comfort or growth, ease or excellence, convenience or results? The path of sacrifice and discipline is not easy, but it is the path to mastery, achievement, and victory. It demands courage, focus, persistence, and unshakable commitment. It requires that you endure the discomfort of today for the triumphs of tomorrow. It requires that you take control of your life, your choices, and your destiny. When you embrace sacrifice and discipline, you tap into a power that few ever access, a force that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results, a mindset that refuses to settle, a life that refuses to be ordinary. Magnetic obsession is the invisible force that pulls success toward you. That makes opportunity unavoidable, that turns intention into results. It is the power of being completely consumed by your vision, so much so that the world begins to respond to the energy you radiate. Ordinary people live distracted, scattered, and unfocused, wondering why opportunities pass them by, why results elude them, why their effort feels like it goes unnoticed. Magnetic obsession is different. It commands attention, it draws resources, it makes things happen. When you are obsessed with winning, with achieving, with creating something extraordinary, people notice it, they feel it, they are drawn to it. You do not have to beg for opportunities. They appear because your intensity creates momentum that cannot be ignored. Magnetic obsession begins in the mind. It is a relentless focus on the outcome you refuse to compromise on. It is the constant visualization, the daily reminder, the emotional attachment to the victory you are pursuing. It is the fuel that powers action, the lens through which you make decisions, the energy that propels you forward when others are distracted, lazy, or indifferent. People who are obsessed magnetically attract like-minded individuals. They attract mentors, allies, and collaborators who amplify their efforts. They attract opportunities that seem almost serendipitous, doors that open when they are ready to walk through, and moments that reveal themselves at exactly the right time. Magnetic obsession is contagious. When people witness someone operating at this level of intensity, they are inspired to give, to contribute, to help, and to support. The energy you project, the commitment you demonstrate, the refusal to compromise, all create an aura of inevitability. When you are obsessed, people sense your confidence, your clarity, and your relentless pursuit, and they want to be part of it. Magnetic obsession is not just about desire, it is about alignment. Your thoughts, your actions, your priorities, your energy, and your environment all must reflect your obsession. It is not enough to think about your goals occasionally. It is not enough to dream about success once in a while. You must live it, breathe it, embody it, and allow it to dominate your decisions and your behavior every single day. Ordinary people live fragmented lives. They allow distractions to fracture their focus. They let comfort, fear, and uncertainty dictate their actions. Obsessed people create a gravitational field of purpose and intensity that pulls everything into alignment. They are strategic, intentional, and relentless. The universe responds to energy, and magnetic obsession generates the kind of energy that moves mountains. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to advance your vision. Every decision is filtered through the lens of what will bring you closer to the outcome you demand. Every thought, every word, every action is aligned with the obsession that drives you. When you are obsessed, hesitation disappears. Doubt becomes a signal to double down. Fear becomes fuel. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable now become invitations to demonstrate your determination. Magnetic obsession amplifies the power of failure. When you are obsessed, setbacks are not discouragement. They are opportunities to refine your approach, to learn faster, and to move with even more intensity. You become a person who is impossible to deter because your focus is unshakable, your commitment is unwavering, and your vision is so compelling that nothing can distract you from it. Obsession also creates clarity. When you are magnetically obsessed, you know exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you are going to get it. You can see the path forward with precision. You can identify what matters and what does not. You can cut through noise, ignore distractions, and focus relentlessly on the few actions that will create massive results. Magnetic obsession is a combination of intensity and direction. Energy without focus is chaos. Focus without energy is lethargy. When you combine the two in a state of obsession, you become unstoppable. You move faster, make better decisions, attract the right people, and generate results that others would call impossible. People who are magnetically obsessed also create influence. Their energy, their drive, their unwavering focus on a goal inspires those around them to rise to the occasion. They become leaders not because they demand authority, but because their obsession radiates confidence, clarity, and commitment that others naturally follow. Magnetic obsession requires total ownership of your vision. It requires refusing to outsource your ambition, to let others define your limits, or to allow circumstances to dictate your trajectory. It is a refusal to compromise your potential. It is a declaration that you are willing to do whatever it takes, give whatever it costs, and endure whatever challenges arise to achieve your victory. Obsession makes the impossible possible because it changes how you perceive challenges. You no longer see obstacles as reasons to quit. You see them as invitations to demonstrate creativity, resilience, and courage. Every barrier becomes a catalyst, every setback becomes an opportunity, every no becomes a push toward a stronger yes. Magnetic obsession also requires emotional investment. It is not a casual interest in success. It is a deep, unwavering connection to your vision that touches every part of your life. It fuels your motivation when others waver. It sustains your action when the path is difficult, and it strengthens your resolve when doubt creeps in.
Your obsession becomes visible in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, in the way you act.
It is impossible to hide, and it is impossible to ignore. Magnetic obsession is not reckless. It is strategic, focused, and deliberate. It demands discipline, sacrifice, relentless action, and a willingness to learn from every mistake. It requires turning failure into fuel, leveraging momentum, and staying committed when others give up. Every choice, every habit, every decision reinforces the gravitational pull of your vision. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not simply talented, lucky, or motivated. They are magnetically obsessed. They radiate a certainty that they will succeed, a confidence that cannot be shaken, and a focus that cannot be diverted. They create an energy that pulls success toward them because they refuse to allow anything to derail them. Magnetic obsession transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It makes action inevitable. It creates clarity in chaos. It attracts opportunity, support, and momentum. It changes how the world responds to you. It gives you the power to turn vision into reality, desire into achievement, and potential into undeniable results. When you are magnetically obsessed, you do not wait for permission. You do not hope for luck. You do not rely on circumstances. You create your own path. You attract the right people, the right resources, and the right opportunities. You see possibility where others see limitations. You move faster, smarter, and with more purpose than anyone else in the room. Magnetic obsession is the difference between those who talk about winning and those who actually win. It is the force that turns ideas into actions, actions into momentum, momentum into breakthroughs, and breakthroughs into victory. It is the ultimate combination of clarity, energy, intensity, and purpose. It is the invisible force that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. When you harness magnetic obsession, you stop competing with mediocrity and start creating excellence. You stop chasing results and start attracting them. You stop hoping and start achieving. It is the culmination of obsession, action, discipline, sacrifice, and the unshakable belief that you will not be denied, that you will not settle, and that you are destined for more.